understanding of a karmic life is not for everybody. There are people who say that this is all nonsense. We don't want to believe in it. That's absolutely all right. But for people who want to find answers and make sense of why things are happening to me and what can I do about it, these learnings, this wisdom, these realizations are a make or break in their lives. There are transformative, miraculous changes that people experience once they accept and take responsibility of their own.
And what is the difference between PLRT and hypnosis?
So, hypnosis is a way through which we can reach that state of consciousness, that altered state of consciousness, where we can reach and tap the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is the space where all the records of your past life.
In your PLRT sessions, what is the most shocking thing a client has said or experienced that made you think, okay, this can't be imagination and this has to be real? So give us a specific story where you are genuinely freaked out.
So this was a session with a very renowned homeopath in Pune. And she was suffering from spondylitis for the past 13 years or something like that. And she got picked up as a demonstration for the class. And in that, she actually went back into a past life of a boy who got beaten up by...
So let's assume a client tells you, I was a peasant in 16th century India and I remember dying by a river. How do you verify that? How do you know that they are not just making it up or accessing cultural knowledge they observe subconsciously either from movies or books or any other sources? So folks, you have tuned into TGV and hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series, the world's only quadrilingual podcast at this moment of recording, and we are trying to embark into multiple languages as we speak, and here we embark on transformative conversations for a better future, and we want to simplify and amplify your journey to success. I'm your host Naveen Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place by bringing you wisdom through valuable discussions with experts designed to simplify and amplify your success. And thank you so much for tuning in. So folks, this is going to be a special episode, and just to get started, here are a few questions from my end. Have you ever felt inexplicably drawn to someone, terrified of something without reason, or stuck in a pattern you can't break? Two experts, okay, who are into PLRT, past life regression therapists, right? They reveal how your past lives might be the missing puzzle piece to your current life's pain, and how regression therapy could be your breakthrough. So we are joined by Hema and Somia. So Hema and Somia, hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series. How are you both doing today?
Thank you, Naveen. Thank you for the warm welcome. We are very excited to be here. And congratulations on your new book that's out.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now that you mentioned, I think I need to show my new book. Here is the hardbound copy of 69 Naked Truths. So, folks, in case if you haven't grabbed it, it's time for you to buy a copy, and it is available globally, not just in India. It is available everywhere in the world. I am also super excited about the book success. And let me introduce you to the guests. Okay, so Hema Subramanian is a certified psychotherapist and corporate behavioral trainer and counselor with an MSc in psychology and 15 plus years of experience in psychotherapy and training. As a trained past life regression therapist, she specializes in facilitating healing of past issues and blocks that manifest as present day anxiety, relationship issues, and unexplained fears. And coming to Somia, Somia Bhasin is a certified past life regression therapist and energy healer who transitioned from a fast paced career into spiritual healing after a profound awakening through PLRT. Sounds interesting, right? And with a background in running a multi-million-dollar family business, her spiritual journey led her to study advanced regression techniques And she now conducts transformative PLRT sessions that help clients access subconscious memories, heal trauma, release karmic blocks, and discover hidden talents and abilities from past incarnations. And often with results that shift people's entire life trajectories in just one session. And I keep meeting TGV guests sometimes, right? And many guests are remotely located, but this is one of the rare cases where I happen to meet a guest before the interview, that too in person. So I found Soumya to be very calm, composed. I, I believe there is some sort of connection, and she gave me few inputs which started working already. So I don't know if it is related to PLRT. We'll find out more. But Soumya and Hema, as we prepare to delve into a conversation on the topic at hand, reincarnation decoded. Do past lives control your present? So here we have two PLRT masters who are going to reveal the truth. But before we get started, here is an exciting twist as always. Let us tickle our guest brain first. So, ladies, get ready for a rapid fire round of random words. I'll mention a few, and I would love to hear the first thing that comes to your mind in response without thinking much. And if you're ready, let's get started with Hema. Hema has been silent. So, Hema, how are you?
I'm good, very well. Thank you, Naveen, for asking. This
All
is
right.
exciting. Rapid fire. Uh, this is also something that Freud used to do with his clients. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychology, used to do with his clients. It's called word association, and it really gets to see what lies in your subconscious mind. So yeah, go for it. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
wonderful. So, let's get started. So, my first word to you is curiosity,
Curiosity, necessary,
invention,
invention, intelligence,
future,
hopeful,
universe.
infinite,
And the last one is leadership.
responsibility.
Amazing. Soumya, it's your turn now. Success.
Um, Easy to come.
Wow. And probably your favorite word, I'm assuming, past.
Key,
Role model.
Dad,
Aliens.
exist.
And the last one is life.
Beautiful.
Superb. Superb. I loved both your responses. And thank you so much for participating in rapid fire round number 1. There is one more rapid fire round toward the end of the episode. And now it's time for us to get into the mainstream conversation. So, first we'll go with the standard questions of our platform. And this time we'll go with Soumya first. Soumya, talk to us about who is your guiding voice.
That's an interesting question. So, for me, I love the concept of Krishna. Now, I would say concept, not getting into God or something, but the amount of wisdom that is there, that is shared, which helps everyone even today. So, for me, my guiding voice would be the wisdom of Krishna.
All right, thank you. And how about you, Hemant?
I think my guiding voice is within me. Sometimes pops up as intuition, sometimes pops up as dreams. I would say I get myself into trouble and I get myself out of it too. So yeah, I'm my guiding voice.
Interesting. All right. So we'll go to the next one, and this time we'll start with the Hema. Hema, talk to us about your success mantra, as in top 3 things that have contributed to your success so far.
I think first is faith, perseverance. I think we have to keep going, and resilience, bouncing back from what doesn't work your way. I think these are the 3 things that have worked for me so far.
Wow. Spot on. Over to you, Soumya.
There's a reason why we work well together, Hema and I, because for me as well, faith in that things are going to work out, that unwavering faith. And Faith is one thing, but you have to do something about it, right? The action, the perseverance to get there, that is important. And above all that, you have to believe in yourself. Otherwise, what's the point of doing all this, right? So that's worked for me so far.
Wonderful, wonderful. So my next question, probably both of you can answer in whatever order you choose. So let's start with the elephant in the room. So most people think PLRT is pseudoscience, right? And you're asking people to remember lives they never lived. And how do you respond to someone who says you are just making people imagine things and they are confusing imagination with memory?
So, if I were to ask you this very interesting thing, where's your brain? Can you point out? Can you point out where your brain is? Yeah. Can you point out where your heart is?
Here,
Yeah? Where's your mind?
mind is here,
That's your brain, right?
brain is here.
Okay. So, biologically, so we cannot really trace the source of the mind. The mind is more an expansive entity than an organ. Yeah. Uh, to a great extent, memory, imagination, thoughts are also they're very subtly different from each other in the sense of some of them have a biological aspect to it, like the software and the hardware of things. And while as people, as human beings, we've always been interested in understanding the hardware because it's there right in front of us. It's very difficult for us to comprehend a software and what it can do, where the cloud is and how things get stored there and how do you access it. We try to make sense out of it, but to a great extent, we still are figuring that out. So I would probably go back and say that your mind is a much bigger entity than a memory, and your mind knows what it is doing. Now, whether or not you understand what your mind does is a different game altogether. For people who can make sense of what the mind can do, they approach, they are more open to these modalities. And for people who don't, they say, okay, it may be imagination, it doesn't seem plausible, it doesn't seem logical, and so on and so on. So, to a great extent, today, the major part of the conversation today is going to be about the mind, very less about the brain and the heart, the organs, I mean, the physical, the hardware part of it. So we're mostly talking software and cloud storage.
And just adding to what Hema said, what we are doing is past life regression therapy. So, therapy meaning you come here to solve something. You have tried out all the conventional approaches, they have somehow not worked out, or you've not found an answer or a healing, and then you try this. Usually, people don't come to this as a first hand or they don't experiment with something like this because it is unconventional. How many people have you heard that, hey, I'm feeling this, let me go for a PLRT session? So that's one. Another thing, like how Hema mentioned that, the mind, it's more than the brain, the heart. The question is, why do you go only to certain pictures, certain imaginations, or certain memories? Why only that? And why is it not common for everybody? So you're drawn to something where your mind wants to make sense of it. Your mind is the king, it knows the answers. What the problem is, it cannot decipher the answers, especially the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind has everything which is there. It requires to know. You require to know. How do you help that to come into sense? Is what we do as therapists. So, as therapists, we just show the client the path. And then where do they go? How do they reach there? What do they experience? What do they feel? That is true for them. And on that truth, based on that truth, they are able to make sense of the problem. Once they make sense of the problem, they get a logical conclusion about what's happening. The beautiful thing is they feel it in their body, which helps in their healing. So when you say that whether it's pseudoscience or what's the proof behind it and is it imagination, for us as therapists, none of that matter because therapy is our goal. If the client feels that yes, they have found a resolution, they're happy with it, we've reached the goal. I hope that answers some bit of it.
Absolutely. And Soumya, you were in management, a field that banks on logic and facts. And then you switched to PLRT. And how did someone trained to be skeptical make that leap? It's a completely different shift. And more importantly, what evidence convinced you that past lives are real and not just elaborate fantasies?
So, for me, my first love has always been psychology. Now, while growing up years, uh, at least when we were studying and all, psychology was not really looked at as a career option. You be a doctor, be an engineer. That's what's preferred. And here, finally, when I got the understanding that, okay, this is what I want to do, even though I felt that it was uh, useful for me, I couldn't put into practice properly till now. So I've never been a skeptic because I come from a family of believers. We believe in in perseverance and faith, and for that, because of that, it was easy for me to make the transition. The most helpful bit for me was to experience something firsthand to actually convince me that yes, it helps. Like you should have seen me in the kitchen around the fire. I was petrified of handling things around the fire, and it did not make sense. As a child, I don't have any memory of getting burned or oil splattering, but I couldn't understand what is this. And eventually, you have to take charge of the kitchen sometime. And I understood that through one of my sessions where I experienced something which involved fire. It gave me clarity. It helped settle down, and I could do what I had to do right now to function better. So that's what helped. So for me, this transition has been, you can say, in the books.
Got it. That's clear. And Hema, coming to you, and neuroscientists say memory is stored in the brain. And when we die, the brain dies. And how can a memory possibly survive death and transfer to a new brain? And aren't you asking people to believe something that violates basic neuroscience?
So, Naveen, we can look at this in multiple ways. Like there are a lot of ways where we can look at it. If we look at it from a very biological perspective, we've all heard the concept of the DNA, right? Yeah. And we know that we inherit like a lot of attributes, not only physical attributes, but also temperament sometimes. And unfortunately, also a lot of diseases sometimes that are proven genetically that, are passed on across generations. So, to a great extent, even beyond a memory cell in the brain, there is a great deal of DNA that gets passed on across generations. Uh, to give it a slight twist, we also say that our bodies are made of panchatatvas, right? The five elements that we are all made of. Clubbing it with the laws of physics, that energy can be neither created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred from one form to another. Yeah. So even as the physical body degenerates, there is a great deal of what we transform into and then get remolded into. Taking another this aspect, taking another tangent to this is the concept of Advaita philosophy, where we say that we are not the bodies, We are beyond it. We are the souls. The body is a temporary place of residence, is the entire premise of Bhagavad Gita, right? He says, this is what you experience right now in this present moment, is what you're experiencing through your five senses in your current body, as Arjun, as Krishna, as somebody, but you are bigger than this. So, again, to a greater extent, what is happening transcendentally is for us to gather wisdom beyond the body, beyond this experience. It's a collection of experience that once again is in the process of being discovered by human beings, because we want scientific proof for everything. Yeah. So having said that, we are still in the process of gathering scientific evidence. There is a lot of research that is already in progress with regards to how uh, the memory or the wisdom is being transmitted across lifetimes for a particular person's, or for across generations of families, for that matter. So to sum it up, once again, we are talking about cloud storage. Whether or not you delete it, it is there in the cloud. Whether or not you forget the password or username, or you know the username and password to that particular cloud account, you can access all the data that is already there. Okay, so it's beyond beyond the body, beyond the brain, beyond the physicality of it all. That we
You're right. I love the metaphor. And Somia, probably you can take this next one. Walk me through an actual PLRT session, like step by step. Someone walks into your office, scared, yeah, depressed, or struggling with relationships, right? Yeah.
So when someone comes to us, uh, we spend some time to understand what the issue is. So you can name it as a discovery call. Why are you here? There's a, like, the symptom and the actual problem, figure out the difference. After that, one of the most important things that we do is to help the client understand how the mind works. There is the theory of the mind that we take them through to understand their conscious mind, their subconscious mind, and where do these problems can possibly come from. And why are you seeing it as a problem in the first place? The explanation is important because you are making the client's conscious mind aware of something that they did not know. And when they know that, they are aware of something, like knowledge comes in, when you take them through the actual session, the mind now feels there's a familiarity in what is happening. So basically, for the mind, the biggest threat is the unknown. Like, past life, what are you going to do there? The myths that are there. What if I get stuck there? What if someone else comes back? What if I forget who I am? So we bust all these myths as well. We first inform the client, make them well aware of what's going to happen, that the willpower is always in their hands, they are in charge, and then we move forward. Once they understand that, answer any questions that they have, then we put them into a hypnotic trance where hypnosis is an altered state of consciousness. So we are accessing that part of the mind where the logical thinking shuts down, and whatever is deep within, the first thought, first impression, we encourage the client to voice that. And what happens next is that, however random it may seem to the client, we can guide them to why their mind is picking up this particular word or this particular feeling or this particular scene. How does it have relevance in their life? And eventually take them through that, get the wisdom, get the understanding, and integrate that into their current life. So, as you know, the past cannot be changed, but we can always learn from it. So, what is that past that you're visiting right now teaching you? We integrate that and we come out of the session.
Right. Got it. And Hema, maybe you can take this. In your PLRT sessions, what is the most shocking thing a client has said or experienced that made you think, okay, this can't be imagination? and this has to be real. So give us a specific story where you are genuinely freaked out.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was freaked out, but I was pretty shocked, I would say. Shocked or amazed, I would say. To be honest, I am a bigger skeptic than Soumya when it comes to believing in past lives and other things. I was a bigger skeptic till I witnessed a session in front of my eyes. This is when I was learning to become a regression therapist, and I would be like, yeah, whatever happens, does it really happen? So this was a session with a very renowned homeopath in Pune, and she was suffering from spondylitis for the past 13 years or something like that. And she got picked up as a demonstration for the class, and in that, she actually went back into a past life of a boy who got beaten up by her father. Okay. And during the course of the demonstration, our teacher, Dr. Yuvraj Kapadia, I would really, credit a mention to him here, because we kind of credit a lot of wise things to what he says and does. So he actually happened to tap on the point where the, the, the core of the spondylitis was, and she let out like this scream, which was very surreal. Okay. And I'm like talking about it right now, and I'm like feeling goosebumps. And when the session ended, this lady looked at her feet and she started weeping. And what she said was, I haven't seen my feet in the last 13 years. Because because of the spondylitis, she couldn't bend down, she couldn't look at her own feet. And within a span of 1.5 hours, she looked down and she saw her feet and she started sobbing uncontrollably because she's so overwhelmed with what had happened. And that was like, wow, that was some experience. And I was blown away with what your mind can hold and what it can contain. And how is it even possible? And she's a very, like I said, she's a very renowned homeopath herself. So it's not like she's not tried other things. She's tried several forms of treatment before, and it is still not worked. And one session through this, and she's, wow, she can look at her feet, and I'm like really blown away with what happened. And I think that was a point when to not sound very religiously jaded, that's when I turned into a believer. Is what I can say. That was an amazing experience. And beyond that, there were a lot more that we experience as therapists as well, what we witnessed and what we underwent ourselves. But this was like something that that made me into somebody who believes in the concept of past lives.
You're right. Well, that's an interesting thing. And yeah, moving to the next one. So either of you can pick, I don't mind. So let's assume a client tells you, I was a peasant in 16th century India and I remember dying by a river. How do you verify that? How do you know that they are not just making it up or accessing cultural knowledge they absorb subconsciously either from movies or books or any other sources?
Okay, so even if they say something like this, like I said, we don't go into verification as such. It's about therapy. For the client, that is the truth. Whether they have picked up through movies, cultural knowledge, it doesn't matter. What matters is, why did that stick to that client? Why did that scene, that feeling, meaning there is some resonance. Like you say, in our general speaking terms, hey, I clicked with that idea or I click with that person. There is some resonance which is there. So we go into finding out why that resonance is so hard hitting that you feel you need to go that place, visit that, and not just visit and imagine or remember, but actually go through the feeling of how it was to die by that river. That is what is important. That death. That is where something is trapped. That is what we need to release. And once we do that, the client feels the shift that they're looking for. So we go by the client's truth is their truth. We don't refute that. We don't challenge that. They are free to verify, of
To
course,
add to
but
this,
we don't do that.
yeah, to add to this, Naveen, I think regardless of how bizarre a story can seem to us as a third party, you will always notice that the emotions that were felt back then are still being felt right now. For example, if somebody feels anxious today, and like Somya rightly said, people don't come into such kind of sessions if there is no concrete reason for it. Like the situation has to be really that dire for somebody to say that, okay, I'm willing to do anything to get out of this state of mind right now. So if somebody feels that anxiety today, it'll be very not surprising to know that the past stories will also have that amount of anxiety. And that is primarily the resonance or the relevance it has to a person's current life. See, the past has no holding over us except for the fact that it affects us today. Yeah. If an event is irrelevant or unimportant or insignificant, it will not bother you today. It will not trigger you today. But if it is, it means that it has some significance, and that has to be explored. So that's all that it comes down to. Yeah.
Makes sense. Mhm. All right. Yeah, got it. And you have had clients with deep rooted fears, right? Say someone terrified of water who's never had a traumatic experience in this life. And they do PLRT, remember drowning in past life, and suddenly the fear vanishes. How do you explain that? If the fear has no current life cause, how did addressing a past life heal it? Soumya, you want to take it?
Yes. So here I would like to explain to you there's a difference between fear and phobia. You're saying that this person has never experienced drowning in this lifetime, yet they are petrified of water. So a fear is something that you have experienced in this life. It has happened with you. It is logical in its nature. Okay. And because of that, you can choose, because of you knowing that it's logical in nature, you can choose to avoid it. So if you're afraid of water, you can choose not to go near a water body. You will avoid drowning, common sense. And then you can just live your life the way it is. So that's a fear. But phobias are illogical. You may have never even seen a big water body, in reality, but just the description of it sends you into a total frenzy, gives a panic attack. That is illogical. Where is that coming from? So that's why we visit the past life to see if there was any experience of such kind. And the client's mind knows what to do, where to go. They will lead you there. All you have to do is now undo what has happened. What has happened is actually probably in that life that they have experienced, the death that has happened is undigested in the sense that they couldn't make sense of it. It's sudden, shocking. So, like Hema had mentioned before, the body dies. But what happens to all that energy that the body felt? The fear, the thoughts, the feelings, what happens to that? Those are the ones which we need the client to relive, to need to let go of, to actually help in overcoming the illogical fear of the illogical phobia that they have. So that's how we tackle something which doesn't make sense, that they've never experienced in this life, to see how we can bring that sense to the client to have that peace of mind. So they're not afraid of something like water.
Got it. And Hema, you mentioned about a homeopath who had physical issues like spondylitis, and likewise, you might have come across many clients who might be having unexplained physical pain like migraines or chronic pain with no medical cause. And probably PLRT heals it. And doctors have no explanation. So, don't you think this is just the placebo effect? And if it is placebo, does it make it less real or valuable?
I am a fan of placebo. I'll tell you why. Because there are several times before I became a therapist, I've used this on so many people. Yeah. Even so, I think it all still comes back to the same thing. If your mind makes sense of it, then it becomes real to you. Yeah. So if somebody is suffering from migraines, let's say we'll use migraine as an example. Yeah. Uh, and migraines are very severe. If you talk to people who are suffering from migraines, uh, there are times when they want to just sleep for days and not get up. There are some people who have a death wish because of a migraine because it's just too unbearable. Yeah. So they obviously want to get that relief. And it's not that they don't try all of this medically. There are so many people who've tried like home remedies and medicines and meditations and this and that, and like a lot of things that people put out there to make themselves feel better, feel relief from the pain. However, if there is a particular aspect of your mind that links a physical problem with an emotional problem, this was very beautifully put out to the world by this really famous healer called Louise Hay. Yeah, when she published her first book called "You Can Heal Your Body," uh, and thereafter "You Can Heal Your Life," she brought out a very strong connection between the mind and the body. And she says that your mind uh, and your body are so deeply interlinked that they have a very strong connection to be able to heal each other as and when required. Remember that our bodies are not designed to disintegrate. They are not designed to self-destruct. They are designed to uh, revitalize and heal and rebuild on their own. If you get a small cut, even if you don't put anything on it, it will heal. But if it doesn't, then Louise Hay questions what is stopping it from healing. Why is your body not functioning the way it should function? Right? So you will also see that there are we speak about uh, being hopeful about healing. We speak about having the willpower to heal. We speak about all these rituals and pujas that we do to believe that, to get the faith and the hope that we will heal, we will have a better life, we will feel better. Yeah. In Tamil Nadu specifically, there are these specific temples where you go and you offer, uh, you know, let's say the face, the head, or the hand, or the legs to the deity to uh, uh, to believe that yes, offering of this will help me heal an issue with my leg, an issue with my head, and so on and so forth. All of this is very instrumental in making your mind ready to heal the body. Without the cooperation of the mind, the body will have a tough time getting back to normalcy. Yeah. And in that, one of the aspects which will facilitate really quick release of all the blocks and beliefs in the mind is regression therapy, to be precise. So all we do is facilitate. I'm going to give a little uncomfortable example. It's like clearing a clogged drain. You clear the clogged drain, let the energy flow, and let the body do its work. Let the water flow. And the way to unclog the drain is PLRT, is what I would say. Just as simple as that. So we trust the intelligence of the body and mind. We trust the intelligence of the body and mind to heal itself, to fix itself. But if there is something which is very specifically blocking it, we have to take a responsibility to unclog it. Yeah? That's how it works.
Just
Yeah.
to add to that, like, and because you said placebo, so you're asking whether it's truth or not, right? Uh, so as Hema said, it depends on what your mind conceives as truth. Because if you look at it, there are only two objective truths in the world, that's birth and death. Every other truth is subjective then. So moving on that concept, what we do, it works for the client. They find the result, the drain gets unclogged, yippee for us and for them.
So there is one myth about PLRT. It is that your current suffering is karmic debt from a past life and you should accept it. And doesn't that excuse victim blaming? If someone is being abused, can we really tell them this is karmic? You must have deserved it. What's your take on that?
I have very strong opinions about this. One, as a therapist, as a responsible therapist, as a good therapist, I usually don't label anything as good or bad, but as a responsible therapist, no therapist has a right to tell the client you deserve it. Nobody has a right to tell you that. So, karma, as spiritually as it goes, and as um, as a matter of cause and effect, again the laws of physics as it goes, uh, it is a great deal of taking responsibility for what has happened. It is for accepting what has happened, your role that you have played in what has happened, and saying that I'm willing to learn from what has happened, whatever the learning is. So we look at karma as punishment for something that we've done wrong. Uh, yes, a lot of experiences can be painful for us, which may feel like punishment. But those punishments, even in school, right, when we were given impositions and punishments, it was for us to realize something. If the punishment doesn't lead to realization, it is a futile exercise of our teachers whacking us with a cane and a duster is futile if the moral of the story is not understood. So the entire concept of karma is to understand the moral of the story for each of us, which is very, very personal and very, very individual. So no other person has a right to point to another person and say, oh, good, you went through this because you must have done something in your life. That's not fair. Also in therapy, we leave it to the wisdom of the client to understand what their learnings and what their moral of the story is. We don't prod or we don't push the client to realize or understand anything. Yeah. So when also understand, again, coming back to what Somya said right in the beginning, these are people who have tried everything under the sun and come back and said that this problem is still not being solved. So understanding of a karmic life is not for everybody. There are people who say that this is all nonsense. We don't want to believe in it. That's absolutely all right. But for people who want to find answers and make sense of why things are happening to me and what can I do about it, these learnings, this wisdom, these realizations are a make or break in their lives. Yeah, there are transformative, miraculous changes that people experience once they accept and take responsibility of their own lives. Yeah. So, to a great extent, yeah, to any therapist who feels tempted to say, I told you, please refrain, is what I will say. Somebody want to add to this?
I must admire you both because you guys have explained me so patiently to all the questions because I'm keeping audience in mind when we think about PLRT and all these are the questions that they have on their mind, right? So, and thank you for patiently explaining that. And this has been an incredible conversation with a lot of insights. And it's time for us to spice up the episode with a quick second rapid fire round. If you are ready, let's get started. And for few questions, I want both of you to answer, and few of them I'll ask you individually. Okay. All right. So first question is to both of you, but I would like Soumya to go first. So if you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
It'll probably say something like, now I'm split between two. One would say, if you think it's possible, it's possible. If you believe in it that it's possible, it's possible. And the other one would say, which is actually from access consciousness. It will say, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. So these are the two billboards I would put up.
Love it. How about you, Hema?
I think one of my favorite quotes is some things have to be believed to be seen. So I would like to put that quote.
Yeah, good one. And Hema, can you describe yourself in just one word?
Hema, that's me. I think I'm very resilient as a person. I'm very resilient.
Resilient. How about you, Somia?
Amazing.
You are. Hema, over to you. This question is specific to you. Reincarnation, real or brain's pattern matching?
Whatever you want to believe it to be.
No, I want a specific answer.
Uh,
What do you believe?
very personal. Very personal.
Okay, got it. And Soumya, have you ever experienced a past life yourself?
Oh, yes. So many of them. Many of them.
We've been each other's therapists for quite some time while we were studying together or even otherwise. And it's interesting to see, how both of us have also grown over time, experiencing all of this, witnessing what we want, both gone through.
And this question, I will leave it up to you, whoever wants to answer. Most common past life you have seen clients access?
Couple first year.
There's not one as such. Yeah. As in, um, we come from that pool of collective unconsciousness. So lives kind of overlap each other. So we've seen slave lives, we've seen lives of royalty, we've seen lives of aliens,
Warriors.
we've seen lives of gods. Yeah, we've seen, and not just one or two, across clients
We've
we've
seen
seen
somebody
this.
becoming saints and monks and really wise people. Yeah.
And name any craziest client revelation during PLRT.
Call it crazy. Some of them are very interesting. Like alien lives are very interesting to me to witness. Like we know that we reincarnate from being a human, and there is a process of evolution that happens. But when you go back into becoming like regress into uh, a life that is not human, that's something that fascinates me even today.
Got it. And Soumya, what do you say to psychiatrists who dismiss this?
Nothing actually, because there are psychiatrists who accept this as well. In fact, in our fertility, we have many psychiatrists who use hypnotherapy, past life regression therapy as a line of treatment. So, for those who don't believe it, that's okay. You can do what you're doing, and we'll continue doing what we do.
And we'll join hands when you need us.
Yes.
Okay. And does age matter? Can a child also do PLRT?
In my experience, age doesn't matter as much as the child can verbalize clearly. So when they have a cognitive understanding of the language, whatever language, English, Hindi, Marathi, whatever they're comfortable with, and understand what is being said, they can go through this. There are children who regress spontaneously. That's different. We are talking about past life regression therapy. So whoever comes for therapy, I have a child as young as 7 who has come to me. So as long as they can understand the process, what we are saying, what they are saying, make sense of it, it works.
Soumya has worked a great deal more with children than me. And surprisingly, her success rate with children achieving those results is also very high. So it's interesting how children are much more receptive than adults. I think the innocence and the trust is like a very big role.
And what is the difference between PLRT and hypnosis?
So, hypnosis is a way through which we can reach that state of consciousness, that altered state of consciousness, where we can reach and tap the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is the space where all the records of your past lives are. So, what's the difference? I would say hypnosis is probably the technique to help you get there. Yeah.
Right. And it comes the last one. I want both of you to answer. What is one electronic gadget or a fantasy gadget that you would like to see or invent yourself?
Since we're talking about PLRT, how about a time machine?
Hema, don't say ditto.
No, I don't know. I think we should just get rid of electronic gadgets. I'm like done. There's just an overdose of all of that right now, at least in my life. So yeah. I, right now, no, I'm going to take a pause.
Okay, great. No worries. And thank you so much for participating in Rapid Fire number 2 as well. And let's flip back to the mainstream. So let me be blunt. Okay, here. What if past lives don't exist at all? What if PLRT works purely through accessing the subconscious, reframing beliefs, and creating psychological shifts without any actual past lives? Would PLRT still be valuable, or does the belief in reincarnation have to be real for it to work?
Uh, if it doesn't exist, then we don't have to work on it. So it's lesser work, I would say, for all that it takes. But whatever, there are people who believe, there are people who don't. Uh, I will still reassert my point saying that if it doesn't affect your current life, you're good with whatever. There are people who don't believe in regression in the first place. There are schools of thought like REBT or cognitive behavioral therapy, which work with only what is right now. There are spiritual schools that work with what is right now. They work with the now, which is absolutely all right. The catch is your mind has to make sense of it. If it makes sense to your mind, good for you. Because regardless of what happens, again, like what Somya said, people come to therapists with a very specific goal. And whatever helps to achieve that goal, the others are just mediums, they are just tools, they're just paths to get to the goal. So, yeah, whatever works.
Fair enough. All right. Thank you both for participating. Yeah, Swami, would you like to add anything?
Just like like what Tuhema said, that, and you also know that we have documented cases of past lives existing. People have verified it, and there are so many undocumented cases as well who have achieved the therapy that they are seeking for. Um, Also, like Hema mentioned, even in religion wise, there are many religions who don't believe in past life, who don't believe in reincarnation, but everyone believes in ancestral lineage, and that can get repeated. So taking someone through even that, which is in a way their own past, directly, indirectly, their own past, resolving whatever unhealed trauma is there through the generations, that is also something that is looked as past life regression therapy.
Got it. Thank you for all the amazing insights, and I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. And personally, I learned a lot about PLRT techniques. And how is your experience being hosted on the Guiding Voice podcast?
This is the first time for both of us. So, nerves, excitement. Yeah, but we're fairly excited. Both of us are talking about things that we love to talk about. So, yeah, it's been cool. Thanks for
Yeah,
having us
and
here.
the only thing that is lacking is time, probably, because we can keep on and on about it.
I once had a friend telling me, my God, you're almost starting to sound like a pastor. You know, preaching, oh my God, you should try therapy. And I'm like, okay. I think that's a little bit of hard sell there. But yeah, we would love to talk and talk.
Wonderful. So thank you once again, and I wish you both all the very best. So, folks, you will find links to Somia and Hema's website as well as their LinkedIn profiles. Feel free to connect with them. And with that, let's get into the trivia section. But before we get into the trivia section, here's a quick request. If you have enjoyed the conversation and found it useful, request you to share with at least 3 of your friends, or colleagues, or family members who would also like TGV, the guiding voice. So spread the knowledge and help others grow just like you. Now it's time for us to cruise into the trivia segment. Having had amazing conversation about past life regression therapy, I thought of presenting you few facts, interesting facts related to past life regression and reincarnation. You know, the first fact is that Dr. Ian Stevenson from the University of Virginia spent 40 plus years researching reincarnation, documenting over 3,000 cases of children who remembered past lives with verifiable details. And some kids described deaths, locations, and family members with stunning accuracy and information they had no way of knowing. This wasn't pseudoscience, and it was rigorous academic research. Second fact is that about 26% of Americans believe in reincarnation, and higher in Asia. Indians believe like 54% of them, Thailand about 57%. But here is the wild part. Even people who don't consciously believe in reincarnation still access detailed past life memories during PLRT. So either past lives are real or our subconscious has access to a library of narratives that feel indistinguishable from memory. And I love the way Hema has put it, right? It is like cloud storage. You can access it anywhere and it is not depending on the physical storage as such. So this is all I wanted to talk from the trivia perspective. Likewise, if you have come across any interesting facts related to past lives or if you have experienced past life yourself, do let me know. If you're watching this episode on YouTube, you can comment there, or if you found it on any other social media platforms, you can comment there as well. So folks, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and also for being part of our awesome TGV family. So until next time, take care and stay inspired, and remember, the best is yet to come. Goodbye for now. See you all in the next episode with another amazing guest and another amazing topic. So take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.